Hey everyone, the Super Beta 400 here, back for another retro review. And this time, this is my long, in-depth review of the 1995 film Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, directed by Brian Spencer, directed by Brian Spicer. This was the directorial debut of the Brian Spicer guy who's wrote for several television shows such as the X-Files, but it was this guy who brought the Power Rangers to the big screen. Now, when it comes to most television shows, especially shows that are based on comic books or video games, I always think television series, whether live action or animated, is always the best route to go. But it's different with Power Rangers. See, one thing I did not like about the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It was basically American actors mixed with Japanese footage, and if the Japanese footage didn't get here in time, that would cause inconsistencies and plot holes. I always thought Power Rangers would be much better. Power Rangers is one of those rare series that is better as a live action film. This was an Americanized live action film. The suits, the props, and the special effects, the Megazords, all of that was American made. Nothing borrowed from Japan. They borrowed the concept of the of them being ninjas from what was that series called again? Um oh yeah, Ninja Sentai Kakuranger. Kakuranger. They borrowed that concept, but they made their own sets. They made their own costumes and props, and had their own cool 3D CGI, and I thought that was cool. I think the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger movie is, in my opinion, the best out of the Power Ranger franchise. I think Zeo, Lost Galaxy, Time Force, Dino Thunder, and SPD, and the current Dino Charge are the best as far as Power Ranger television series were concerned. But the best of all time, in my opinion, is the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger movie and the follow-up Turbo Power Ranger movie, which I'm going to talk about in the next video. But right now, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers film. I love this movie. I saw this film twice back in 1995 when it was released with friends. I saw it twice and I watched it several times on VHS. I finally got to watch the film again in 2009 on YouTube several times. However, the account that had it got terminated, and every person who uploaded this film got their accounts terminated. They kept doing everything in their power to remove this film. And then, of course, when YouTube merged with Google's, lots of stuff got removed. They killed a lot of accounts and lots of material got removed. So the only time I could see it was, of course, in 2013, which you can find a audio review, a narration review on my channel in 2013. I got to see it on the Encore. It was on the IFC or Encore channel, one of the movie channels on TV. Finally, I always wanted to watch and review this film again. Finally, thanks to Putlocker, a website for watching old and new movies, finally got to see this film again. I've watched it several times over for this in-depth review right here. It was really exciting getting to watch this awesome film, and this film is as awesome as it was back in '95. Back in '95 when I saw it, this film is surprisingly still held up. I would put it above a lot of the films of today, a lot of the films I like today. But with that being said, yeah, the only thing I didn't like about this film, when I saw this film back in '95, I thought this film was a prequel to season 3 of Power Rangers, and of course Zeo, and of course Power Rangers Zeo. However, this film is set in its own continuity. It's not set in the continuity of the television series, and that is emphasized in the beginning, where they reckon Ivan Ooze to being involved in this timeline when there's no mention of him in the television series. In the beginning, they have a Star Wars like opening scroll, opening text, where they mention Zordon imprisoning Ivan Ooze, who ruled Earth 6,000 years ago. 6,000 for who ruled Earth with an iron fist 6,000 years ago, and then they mention Zordon coming into contact with five teenagers who became the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That's vastly different from the television series. Vastly different from the television series. And he mentions the current Power Rangers. He doesn't mention Zach Trini, Jason, and yeah, those three who of course left the series, who of course left the series. He doesn't mention those three. He mentions the current ones, which are Rocky, Tommy, Kimberly, um, what was her name? Oh yeah, Asha Campbell, and of course Billy Cranston and Adam Park, respectively. Also, another proof it's not canon is um Rita Repulsa's minion. I think his name is yeah, Morden, the pig warrior, the pig the pig warrior. He wasn't in the series. It was Squap, I think, the bird creature. He wasn't in the series. It was Squap and Bamboo. I think that's the other one's name. But this Morden character, who's this big character, he was created exclusively for the film. He was created exclusively for the film, and of course Goldar, while he looks the same, he has a suit made for this film and a vastly different actor. The late Carrie Casey, who died November of last year, portrayed Goldar, whereas in the original version, whereas the television series had of course, he was portrayed by a Japanese actor with his voice dubbed over in English. Same with Rita. So like I said, that was the only disappointment. I always thought that this was in continuity with the series, but it wasn't. It's an adaptation of the series, and in my opinion, it's better than the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, because one thing I didn't like about the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is the filler. It's the filler episodes. There are episodes, if you watch there's 60 episodes, and there's several episodes of nothing really happening for like the entire series. The the coming of Lord Zed and the Green with Evil, and of course the epic moment in season 3 where the tower got destroyed, was the only time something actually happened in the entire series. It was 60 episodes with just the everyday lives of the Power Rangers and Rita summoning a monster for the Power Rangers to fight, which got old fast. In this film in my opinion had a much better plot, and since this was only an hour and a half movie, so everything moved and flowed quickly. And this film it got mixed reception from critics, and grossed 66.4 million dollars with a budget of 15 million dollars. So yeah, this film good at it. I think it what else? Um oh yeah, it came in fourth behind Apollo 13 and of course Pocahontas and Batman Forever. And like I said, it has a 50% on the Rotten Tomatoes meters. I would think a Power Ranger film would get trashed. A Power Ranger film like that would get trashed by critics. I'm surprised it got a 50 something percent. But yeah, that's one of the things I love about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. Now let's get to the awesome plot. Now, unlike the sequel, this film was a light-hearted fantasy, martial arts fantasy adventure type film. There was lots of comedy. Even the villain himself, Ivan Ooze, um, was hilarious. The film starts off in an awesome fashion with the teenagers skydiving and rollerblading for some charity event. The teenagers in Bulk and Skull, the teenagers Rocky, Tommy, Adam, Billy, Shaw Campbell, and of course Kimberly, and of course Bulk and Skull skydiving and rollerblading for some charity event. Bulk and Skull land far away from where they were supposed to land, and land at the site where Ivan Ooze is buried, and Ivan Ooze is buried, and at first, and they order the construction guys to continue continue digging. Later on, and here the Power Rangers befriend a little boy named while that's happening, the Power Rangers befriend a little boy named oh yeah, Fred Kelman, Fred Kelman Fred Kelman, who I think the charity drive is for later on in the film. I Rita Raposa, Rita Raposa and Laura Zed go to where Ivan Ooze is in prison, and Laura Zed with his stick um taps the egg, and the egg cracks, the shell cracks, and purple oozes out of him, and Ivan Ooze is free. Ivan Ooze is free, and Lord Zed Lord Zed goes fanboy and talk about how he has always wanted to imprison, how he's always been a fan of Ivan Ooze and wanted to imprison him, and he imprisoned him to destroy the Power Rangers. Ivan Ooze promises to destroy the Power Rangers. The Power Rangers are alerted by Zordon to go to that dig site where the Power Rangers end up running into Ivan Ooze's shell, and Ivan Ooze himself, and Ivan Ooze summoned his Ooze warriors, to fight the Power Rangers in an awesome martial arts scene. Then, of course, the Ooze warriors proved to be too powerful, so the Power Rangers are now forced to morph into the Power Rangers, and the Power Rangers in another awesome fight. They clean house. Love the updated CGI looking, shinier looking movie costumes, and the Power Rangers clean house. While that's happening, Ivan Ooze and his men, Ivan Ooze later retreats, and he goes back to the site where Rita and Laura Zed are. Laura Zed and Rita rip him, and mock the fact that he couldn't, berate him for not defeating the Power Rangers. Ivan Ooze decides that he is now ruler and turns on Zed and Rita. Zed tries to kill him by zapping him with his staff, but Ooze imprisons both of them in a crystal ball, and promises to imprison Goldar and Mordin in the crystal ball. They don't serve him. Goldar and Mordin immediately abandon Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed, and serve Ivan and swear loyalty to Ivan Ooze. Ivan Ooze goes to the command center where Alpha Q and Zordon are, and he wrecks everything. And severely injures Zordon in a funny moment where he talks about all these things that he's missed over the years, like the Spanish Expedition, and finally the Brady Bunch reunion, which was hilarious because I never expected to hear that in a Power Rangers movie. That is still hilarious. Now I actually didn't get that joke when I was a kid, but hearing that joke now, and now that you understand, it's even more hilarious now, and it's unexpected hearing that in a Power Rangers movie. And then of course, next is so yeah, the Power Rangers, they lose their power since the command center is destroyed. They lose their power, and a dying Zordon tells them to go to the planet Phaedos to meet Dosea, so they can find the great power, and of course restore their powers. They go to the planet Phaedos and are attacked um by Ivan Ooze's bird creatures. What were they called? I think they're called yeah, the Tengu. The Tengu creatures, the Tengu bird creatures. The Power Rangers are barely able to hold their own and almost get killed until Dosea comes and swiftly defeats the Tengu and forcing them to retreat. Where Ivan Ooze berates them for losing, then kills them by zapping them to pieces for their failure. Dosea and he then begins work on his electro his um what were they called again? His special oh yeah, his ectomorphicons. He begins work on those. There's also a subplot where he hypnotizes the parents of Angel Grove to do his bidding. Then he or then after to do his bidding by having each of them by using his ooze to hypnotize them. Then he after he has no more use for him, he orders them to walk off a cliff and commit suicide. It's up to Fred Yellman to save them. That's the subplot. Going back to the main plot, the Power Rangers, the Power Rangers after an awkward meeting with Dosea, after they announce that Ivan Ooze is free and that Zordon is severely injured and is dying, Dosea agrees to help them to help them in their quest to find the great power. She gives them special new ninja like costumes, and Asha is the bear, Billy's the wolf, Rocky's the ape, Kimberly's the crane, and Tommy is the falcon, and finally Adam in a hilarious fashion was the frog. And they go on some quest to find the great powers where they run into and they run into some dinosaur creatures and some oh yeah, and they defeat the four guardians. They defeat the four guardians of Monolith to finally get the great power which restores their power. Back on Earth, Ivan Ooze's ectomorphicons are finished and are now terrorizing the city. The Power Rangers use their newfound power to go to Earth and battle Ivan Ooze's ectomorphicons and just are narrowly able to defeat him. But Ivan Ooze then turns into ooze and decides to inhabit the body of one of them, and the Power Rangers combine together to form a Megazord and engage Ivan Ooze in the ultimate battle, which goes all the way into space. They both enter a stalemate where they both wrestle, lock up together, and Ivan Ooze is just wrecking their machine with his ooze. So the only way to win is in a hilarious fashion, they hit the emergency button, which causes the Zord to lift its knee and Ivan Ooze in the balls, and it knocks Ivan Ooze into a comet, and they fly back to Earth, and the film ends in an epic fashion where Tommy tells where Bulk and Skull try to take credit for the Power Rangers victory, and the Power Rangers are seen with the with Fred Yeoman and they tell Fred Yeoman they talk about how Fred Yeoman is now a hero for how he helped save the parents of Angel Grove, and the film ends with them saying he will make a great Power Ranger someday, and the fireworks flashing in the sky, Power Rangers with Eddie Van Halen's Dreams playing, and the film ends there. With Eddie Van Halen's Dreams playing in the credits. Like I said, epic film. And then it's hilarious with Bulk and Skull, not the Power Rangers, Bulk and Skull. Like I said, awesome film, man. Just an awesome film, man. And one thing I haven't talked about yet, the cast. Everyone did a good job as always. Karen Ashley was awesome as Asha Campbell. Johnny Young Bosch was awesome as Adam Park. Stephen Cardenas was awesome as Rocky DeSantos. Jason David Frank carried the film as Tommy Oliver. Amy Jo Johnson, Kimberly Hart, David Yost as Billy Cranston. Paul Scherer as Farkas Bulkemeyer, and Jason Navy as Eugene Skovich. Paul Freeman was Ivan Ooze. Gabriel Fitzpatrick was Docia. Nicholas Bell voiced Zordon. Peta Marie Rickson was Alpha Q. Jean Paul Bell was Mordit. The late Carrie Casey portrayed the in suit actor for Goldar. Mark Gaither portrayed Lord Zed. Julia Cortez. Oh, much to my surprise, Julia Cortez portrayed Rita, the body of Rita Repulsa, with Mark Ginther portraying the body of Lord Zed. Jean Paul, I mentioned Jean Paul Bell as Mordant, and Jamie Croft as Fred Kelman, and Paul Gordon and Robert Simpson as the construction workers. Karen Mahan portrayed the voice of Goldar. Robert L. Monahan portrayed the voice of Zordon. Robert Axelrod portrayed Lord Zed. Barbara Goodison, of course, returns as Rita Repulsa. Richard Wood as Alpha Q, and Martin G. Malkoff as the voice of Mordant. Like I said, and this film had a phenomenal soundtrack. First off, you had the Italian group Shampoo, the 90s Italian group Shampoo, who portrayed the awesome Trouble theme. There's even a music video of that. There was even a music video of that on YouTube to promote the film. Then there's a music video of its own, separate from the film, featuring the two singers of Shampoo. Then, of course, Eddie Van Halen's Dreams appears in the credits, appears at the end of the film and in the credits. There's also a slower opera version of the movie version of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers remix theme of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers theme, which briefly appears in the beginning of the film, where the Power Rangers morph for the first time to fight Ivan Ooze's Putty Patrol. Um, Next is you got who else? Next you got Kung Fu Fighting appears in this film, and in the beginning in the beginning of the film, Snaps, I Got the Power appears. Dan Hartman's Free Ride appears in the beginning. They Might Be Giants have a song in here called Sin Surround. Power Jet by um Power Jet portrays Alpha's song I, and Graham Rev Grime Revel portrays Firebird, and Aaron Walters, the Mighty Raw, portrays Cross My Lines. And so yeah, like I said, lots of awesome songs in this lots of awesome songs in this awesome movie. So yeah, like I said, this movie had everything. A phenomenal cast, awesome CGI. I love the 90s style love the 90s style CGI 1995 special effects. And I love how this film, instead of borrowing Sentai footage from Japan, no, they created everything from scratch. The suits, the costumes, the props, and of course the CGI, and of course the sets. Everything was created from scratch. And like I said, I think that's why Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie, in my opinion, is the best of the Power Rangers, of the best of the entire Power Rangers franchise. Awesome, awesome fight choreography. Lots of humor. There's never a dull moment in this film, from beginning to end. This film was great. So like I said, in my opinion, one of the best and most underrated superhero movies of all time. Most people don't think it's as good as the television series. I thought this was better than the television series. All right, I'm done. Turbo is coming up next.